Hey guys, all right, hopefully you have gotten this handout off of the blog. So we're going to find the area of composite figures. And well, what are composite figures? They're going to be kind of funky looking shapes. So here's an example. Here's another one. And here's another one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take these odd shapes and we're going to break them into shapes that we recognize. So you're going to see a lot of us breaking them into triangles, squares, possibly rectangles, a lot of those things, because we know how to find the area of those smaller figures. So that will help us find the area of these kind of odd looking shapes. Okay, so I put that at the top just as a reminder. To find the area, you will break the figures up into smaller shapes that we know that we can find the area of. So for instance, rectangles and triangles are going to be our main goal. So I'm going to zoom in on the camera so you can see the problems a little bit better as we work on them together. All right, so right here you have this L-shaped figure. And notice that they've given you the dimensions. So this side right here is 12, this bottom or the base is 10, this little side right here is 4 feet, and this top piece right here is 5 feet. So looking at this figure, you can probably think, okay, I think I can probably break it into rectangles. You can choose how you break it up. I'm going to break this one up horizontally from this corner right here. So I'm going to be looking at this upper rectangle and this lower, longer rectangle right here at the bottom. Okay, so the dimensions for this rectangle on the bottom, I have a length of 10 and I have a height of 4, or a base of 10 and a height of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply those two pieces together. So I know that this area right here is 40 feet squared. But I'm not finished yet because I still need to include the area of this top rectangle up here. Okay, so I have our width or base of this rectangle to be 5, but what I need to figure out are this length or the height piece so I can find its area. I'm going to use this bottom rectangle to help me. So I know that this long piece is 10. I already know that's 5, so I'm good. But this width right here is 4, which means this width on this side has to also be 4. Okay, so because I know that this small piece right from here to here is 4, I can now find out what this piece from here to here is, because I know that the entire piece equals 12. So I'm going to subtract 4 from 12. So I know that this piece right here is 8 feet. Now I have the two dimensions that I need to find the area of this upper rectangle. So I'm going to multiply 8 times 5, and I end up with 40. So now I'm going to take these two measurements, the two 40s, and I'm going to add them together. So now I figured out that the area of this whole composite figure is 80 feet squared. Okay, if you chose to break it up vertically right here, it really shouldn't matter. You should still get the same area that we did as well. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to move to the one right next to it on the other side. Here we go. All right. So you kind of notice that this one, you could probably break it. I see a rectangle here and then a triangle that could be right here. So I'm going to go ahead and break it up that way. All right, so now I have to figure out the dimensions of this rectangle. I see that the length is, or this height right here is 13, and I see that my base is going to be 4. So I'm going to multiply 13 times 4 to find that area. So I'm going to end up with 52. Okay, all right. So now I need to figure out the dimensions of the triangle, because remember, I need a base and I need a height, and all I know is this whole piece right here is 8. So I'm going to use these other pieces to help me figure out what those pieces are for the triangle. So I'm going to look. I know this whole side of the rectangle is 13. So I know that this whole side should also equal 13. So if I know that this top piece right here is 3, what's missing right here so that that whole side can equal 13? If you said 10, then you are correct. So the height of this triangle is 10. Now I have to figure out the base of this triangle. Well, I know that this entire piece is 8, but I don't need that whole piece for the triangle. What we did find out of this rectangle over here is that this measurement is 4, which means the one opposite is also 4. And if I know that this whole piece is 8, and I know this little piece right here is 4, think about how I can find out what the base of this triangle is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take away 4 from 8, and so I know that the base of this triangle is 4. Okay, so remembering what we've been doing earlier this week, we're going to find the area of this triangle. So we're going to use the base and the height. So I know I have to do 4 times 10 and then divide it by 2. Well, we know 4 times 10 is 40. We're going to divide it by 2. That's going to give us 20. Now to figure out the full surface area, not surface area, but the full area of this composite figure, we're going to add 52 and 20, and we're going to end up with 72 inches squared. Okay, so really all we're doing is we're breaking it into shapes that we've already been finding the area of and adding them together. All right, here we go. So now we're going to move on. Let's do this one next. It looks like a house. So if you look at it, it's already broken up into 2 figures for you. Notice that it's already got the rectangle here at the bottom and it's got the triangle up top. So because I know the length of this rectangle is 11 and the height or the width is 3, I can go ahead and figure that area out. So I'm going to multiply 11 times 3. So I know the area of this rectangle is 33. Well, I'm actually going to need these other dimensions too. So if I know this side is 3, I'm going to go ahead and label the other side to be 3. And if I know this is 11, I'm going to go ahead and say that that part is also 11, which helps because that's the base of your triangle. Okay. All right. So now we need to remember, what measurements do we need to find the area of a triangle? We need the base and we need the height. And then we have to remember to divide that by 2 after we multiply. So remember that 11 is going to be your base and 2 is going to be your height. We don't need the 6's. They threw that extra information in there just to make sure you knew what you needed to find the area. All right, so I'm actually going to find the area down below just because it gives us a little bit more space. I'm going to draw a triangle so I remember what it is. So the base we said was 11. We're going to multiply it times the height, which is 2. And I need to also divide that by 2. So I've got 11 times 2, 22. And I'm going to divide it by 2, which then gives me 11. So now I can't forget that the area of the rectangle we already found to be 33. So now I'm going to add these 2 areas together. So when we do that, we're going to come up with the composite area of 44 inches squared for this shape up top that we just solved for. Okay? All right. Hopefully we're doing all right and we feel okay about this. So now I'm going to swing this over. Now we're going to find the area of this trapezoid. All right, so we're going to treat a trapezoid as if that they put other shapes together to create it. Notice that the height already creates a small shape for us. It creates a triangle. So I'm actually going to draw the height on the other side as well. And you're going to notice that it's going to break it into 2 triangles and a rectangle. See that now? We have 2 triangles and we have a rectangle in the middle. All right. So I'm going to kind of use the bottom area to organize my area space for each smaller figure and then add them up at the end. So if I look right here, I have this triangle, I have the base and I have the height. So I'm going to go ahead and find those areas. So base 5 times the height 20, and I'm going to divide that by 2. Well, 5 times 20 we know is 100. We're going to divide it by 2. So the area of this triangle is 50 centimeters squared. Now I'm going to find the area of the rectangle. Well, I have my dimensions of the rectangle to be 30 and 20. So now I'm going to multiply those pieces together. So 30 times 20, they're big numbers, but we can do that. 600 centimeters squared. And now the last little piece is this third triangle, but we don't have any numbers written for our base or height, so we need to figure out what those numbers are. Well, going back to the rectangle, we know that these sides, if I know these 2 dimensions, then I know these other 2 dimensions as well. So if this is 20, this other side has to also be 20. And if I know that this is 30, then on a rectangle, I know that this other mirroring side or side that's parallel is also 30. So now that helps me find the base. Well, I know this entire piece is 40. If this is 5, now I know this is 30, that's at 35. How much more do I need to make it all the way to 40? If you said 5, then you're correct. That little piece right there should be 5 centimeters. So notice that the dimensions of these 2 triangles are the same. So I know that the area for the triangle, I'm going to use 5 times 20 and divide by 2 again. And I'm going to end up with 50 centimeters squared. So now that I know all 3 areas, I can add them together to find our composite area. So over here, find a spot where I know y'all can see it. I'm going to add 600 plus 50 plus 50. That's going to give us 700 centimeters squared. And I'll circle it in a different number, in a different colors. That way we know that that is the solution. Okay. All right. So now kind of panning back out, we have successfully found the composite area of all of these different shapes. Remember, you just need to break them into smaller shapes that you know how to find the area of. Focus on making rectangles and triangles and then adding them together in the end. All right, guys, hope this is okay. Let me know how you do and hope y'all are having a good week. Bye.